Do you like puzzle games? How about challenges that test your hand-eye coordination, memory, and ingenuity all at the same time? Then I have a game for you. Quadroids is an upcoming puzzle game by Blue Loop Studios, Fabloo Games, and Just for Games. Thanks to the folks over at Home Run PR, I received an early preview of the game, and I'm thrilled to share my thoughts on it with all of you. There are a lot of great things about Quadroids, but let's start with the inventive, engaging gameplay. As I said earlier, it's a puzzle game. In each level, you control 4 screens, each with a corresponding button, the bumpers and triggers on a typical controller. Pressing the button only has one function, commanding these little dudes called Quadroids to jump. Your task is to get your Quadroid from its starting point to its final destination, moving across multiple screens, while evading hazards like spikes and pools of acid. It sounds simple, but in reality, it's so delightfully complicated. When you set your eyes on a Quadroid, your mind just sort of naturally assumes that the little dude will always be controlled by the button it starts with. But that's just not how the game works. So when your Quadroid changes screens, you need to adjust your mindset and the button you're using to control the little dude along with it. This makes the game's challenges not just skill or timing based, but memory focused as well. Only by playing and practicing can you get used to the unique, mind-bending mental adjustments you need to make to transition between screens with ease. And once you've got the process down, the real puzzle work comes into play. Take this level for example. The only way to get across this pit of acid is to sacrifice a Quadroid from a previous run and use their decaying body as a platform. And the only way to progress through this level, the final of the preview I played, is to let this robot devour one of your Quadroids, so that another one of the little dudes can use the robot as a springboard. The structure of these puzzles is so interesting to me, and as a Souls fan, I love how the game uses failure and mistakes to breed creativity and problem-solving skills in its players. Now, as you can probably tell based off of all of that, the game has a dark but quirky sense of humor. The story of the game is that the Quadroids are being sent off to conquer other planets, and that these puzzles are in service to that goal. It gives me some Invader Zim vibes, and as a 90s kid who watched that show quite a bit, I certainly approve. I liked the game's pixelated art style, and the soundtrack complemented the sci-fi vibes of the game. But my favorite thing about Quadroids is its value as an educational tool. When I was a kid, I was diagnosed with binocular vision disorder, a condition where the eyes are slightly misaligned and thus struggle to send clear messages to the brain. One of the many side effects of this condition is, as you might imagine, terrible hand-eye coordination. So back in the day, I spent years going to the eye doctor, working on my hand-eye coordination through games and exercises that were just so boring. I was supposed to work on these exercises at home as well, but my parents could never get me to do them. I was an imaginative 7-year-old. I wanted to play with action figures and Pokemon cards, not do some activity that would just remind me that I'd better bury any hopes of ever being a pro football player. When I sat down to play Quadroids, I was instantly reminded of the inherent concept behind these boring exercises, to get my hands to do what my eyes wanted them to. But this flashback to the difficulties of my youth didn't trigger me or anything along those lines. Not one bit. Because instead of being bored to tears, instead of being thrown into a bonus homework activity I couldn't care less about, I was having fun. Sure, the game smacked me around a bit at first, but after about 15 minutes, it was a blast. I wish there had been a game like Quadroids when I was a kid. A game like this would have caught my attention and convinced me to work on my hand-eye coordination without so much as a fuss. I'd have done it willingly, because it's fun. It would have transformed an obligation, a drab homework assignment, into something truly enjoyable. Blue Loop, Fabloo Games, and Just for Games, best of luck on the road to release. I am very much looking forward to playing and reviewing Quadroids when the full version drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.